What is up, everyone? Guys, listen up. After watching today's video, you're gonna have all the info you need on the best primary weapons in the game when it comes to the Terminids on max difficulty. And that's essentially how we're gonna be rating these weapons. Which of these weapons make the hardest difficulty in the game easier compared to others. And what you're gonna see on the tier list is some weapons are gonna end up on the higher A tier and some of them are gonna end up on the lower A tier. Obviously, I'm gonna break all of that down as we go through the weapons. And please keep in mind, guys, if you enjoy a certain weapon that is not S tier, keep using it. As long as you're having fun, creating some cool memories, that's all that matters. However, at the same time, there's definitely some performance differences when it comes to these weapons, and that is exactly what we're going to be talking about in this video, because there's some crazy new content that has been added to the game that really made the game so much more interesting when it comes to build crafting and which weapons you should be using depending on the new missions, enemies, all that kind of stuff. Like, the Terminids are absolutely insane and cracked out of their mind right now. Yes, dude. We'll start off with the Purifier here. This weapon is going to be S tier right away, guys. First of all, the Purifier has always been exceptionally good. Like, the AoE clear is there, the damage is there, the ammo economy is also incredible. And on top of that, it's a plasma weapon. Most of the plasma weapons are exceptionally good in this game, and especially for the bugs, because, for example, if you're fighting the charger and you're trying to delete their tail really quickly, guess what? Plasma weapons get the job done very easily. And on top of that, as I said, with the new missions and whatnot, ammo economy does play a big role. So Purifier is definitely up there. Does it take some time to get used to and understand how to use it? Absolutely. And what I mean by that is you'll see a lot of people, for example, use charged shots even when enemies do get close. That is a big mistake, right? When any enemy is getting close to you, you want to like quick tap the weapon so you don't deal as much damage to yourself, you stay alive, and at the same time you're deleting the bugs. But overall, it is an easy S tier pick for the bugs. And one more thing that I forgot to mention is Stagger. Like, Stagger currently with the new bugs is absolutely goated. It's one of the best things in the game, and it will make any weapon much more valuable because of how everything functions right now. That they're pretty quick, they jump out of nowhere, and any kind of essentially CC is highly valuable, and that is something that the Purifier has. Next up on the list, we have the one and only Incendiary Breaker. Now, this used to be S tier. We are gonna drop it into A tier, and the reason is going to be ammo economy on this, right? Like, you have to pair it with a supply backpack, especially with the new missions and whatnot, to make this weapon viable currently. Now, this doesn't mean that it's a bad weapon. By all means, it's one of the best in my opinion still, and really fun to use. You can also customize this weapon as well, and it just feels good across the board, makes the shriekers easy. Fire is obviously very strong against the bugs in general. So yeah, it's a very solid pick still, even though that the ammo economy isn't the best. And if you guys are asking, Pip, why is it not S tier? Is it just ammo economy? We already talked about Stagger, for example, on the Purifier, right? And guys, that will make a difference with the new warriors, with the new spewers. Fortunately, there is a big difference. So yeah, it's not gonna make it into S tier, but it's still a pretty solid weapon if you are using a supply backpack, for example. And this might move down a little bit on A tier as we add some other weapons, but currently we're just gonna throw it in there. Now, what I want to do is I quickly want to go over all of the assault rifles, because I don't want to waste a lot of your time when it comes to maximum difficulty. That said, I do think that some of them are way more effective than they used to be, and we're gonna discuss that here in a second. Let's start off with the normal Liberator. I feel like this weapon is it's in a weird spot, man. I was never a big fan of this. We're gonna start off with a B tier, but it's definitely gonna either move down a lot on the B tier, or we might move it down to C, but probably gonna stay on the lower B tier here. Then we do have the Liberator Carbine. Now, this is customizable, and the fire rate is pretty high on this, so it's a pretty fun weapon. Do I think it's like one of the best weapons in the game? Absolutely not, but I personally like it over the normal Liberator, especially with the drum mag. It feels pretty good, and when it comes to the ARs, it's definitely one of my favorite, so we're gonna put it above the Liberator in B tier. Then we have the new Dust Devils Coyote Assault Rifle, and this is gonna be the first AR ever to go into high A tier, man. It's really one of the best weapons in the game at the moment. Now, I'm not going to put it into S tier because I do think it's lacking some things, for example, like stagger, you know, and those kind of things, which are very, very effective on the higher difficulties of the game. But we finally have an AR that is in high A tier, guys. That says a lot, right? And this is what I've been saying for a very long time, that even if you make these ARs a little bit more fun, a little bit more interesting, for example, with the Incendiary and Medium Pen, they still don't end up in S tier and they still don't feel broken, which should show the devs that they have way more freedom to create these kind of ARs without worrying that they are going to break some, you know, meta or make them overpowered or whatever. Once again, it is medium pen. The damage is pretty good. The incendiary shots obviously give huge value because fire is very dominant on the bug side. So yeah, easy top A. We might move a little bit down as we add some other weapons, but overall, it's going to stay here. Then we have the Halo AR. This is going to go to B tier. On top of B tier, actually, I do think that it feels okay. I think that the medium pen is nice. The 80 damage also comes in clutch, but I definitely do not think that it has more value than the Coyote or the Incendiary Breaker when it comes to the maximum difficulty of the game. Then we have the Concussive Liberator. This one, it's kind of like in a weird spot where you can build craft around it, but it's not crazy. Anything that this can do, a lot of the other weapons do better because they get the kills faster and, you know, they have incendiary ammo and whatnot. I'm going to drop it into B tier. Then the Penetrator. This is also going to stay next to the Liberator Carbine. Once you do customize this with the drum mag, it actually is pretty fun to use. I'm not gonna lie, the fact that it has medium pen is pretty nice. Then we have the beast, the monster, the one and only, the 50 damage animal. This is gonna be low B tier. I'm not gonna waste your time. Then we have the tenderizer. This one has pretty high damage actually, and I truly do believe this feels actually very nice. Out of the auto rifles, it has like one of the best feels to it. We're gonna drop it in B tier as well, but we're going to drop it on the higher side next to Halo. Now, once again, if you're thinking, why is this in B tier? Guys, look at the weapons above it. Like, I'm not throwing it in A next to the Incendiary Shotgun against the bugs, the Coyote, or the one and only Purifier. It's just not happening, okay? It doesn't deserve that spot. Now, you can argue that it feels better than the Halo weapon. That's going to be up to you. I personally like them both when it comes to the ARs. Next up, we have the Adjudicator. This is also going to go into B tier. Now, this one is customizable. You can adjust the recoil a little bit. When it comes to that, I think the Halo weapon is better. When it comes to the damage, Adjudicator is better. If they ever do add customization to the Adjudicator, guys, it's gonna feel awesome, and it's probably gonna move up to A tier. Like, if we can get some kind of drum mag on this thing, it's gonna be a beast, and it has huge potential. But currently, if I'm trying to clear max diff easily, I'm not going for this weapon either. Now, before we move on to the next weapons, I want to quickly let you guys know why I think that the auto rifles are kind of, apart from the Coyote, got hurt even more with this latest update. Guys, a bunch of the enemies have medium armor, okay? On top of that, explosive weapons are now more valuable than ever because you can shoot the enemies that are underground and kind of stagger them even underground, and then they pop up easier, or you can just directly deal damage to them, or essentially they have much more value than they've ever had, which also means, so you got two things. Explosives are better than ever. You got more enemies that have medium armor, and most of the ARs, they have a light pen, and even those that do have medium pens, such as the Adjudicator, you're going to be running into ammo economy issues because you don't have any kind of extended magazines or drum mags and so on. So that is why I think that they are not valuable when it comes to maximum difficulty and clearing said difficulty efficiently and easier. So do keep that in mind. And now let's get to the Accelerator. This is going to go into doo-doo tier. There is absolutely zero reason to use this weapon. Yes, it does energy-based damage, and that's pretty cool. But no, the ammo economy isn't good. Like, you have 3 bursts, and then that's it. You got to reload. Like, and close up, it's weird. It's just not a good gun, okay? Like, I understand that they had to transfer some stuff, and they couldn't change, but they could have given it more damage or whatever. They didn't do that. Therefore, currently, it is absolutely useless. Then we have the one and only Cookout. This is an easy S tier pick, and there is a big reason why it's better than these two right here. First of all, I do think that the Coyote has pretty decent ammo economy, right? But it doesn't have stagger. And the Incendiary Breaker lacks stagger as well. Meanwhile, this beast right here, the Cookout, has stagger, awesome ammo economy, great damage, and incendiary rounds as well. It's like the combination of some of the best traits in the game. And if you're thinking, but Pip, it's light pen. While that is true, because of the stagger and incendiary rounds, it still very easily pushes away, for example, even the new warriors, and they burn out very quickly. And we've been doing this on streams all the time. This is essentially still one of the weapons that I use 90% of the time when I'm trying to hunt down Hive Lords, and when I'm getting pushed by warriors and whatnot, it gets the job done. It pushes them away and burns them out in a second. So it's very strong still. So yeah, it is a light pen weapon, but it's kind of like an exception because of the combination of stagger and incendiary rounds. Then we have the Halo SMG. This is gonna go into lower B tier. You could arguably throw it into C tier. The damage is okay, I guess, but guys, like, most of these ARs are still gonna be better. They're customizable. They get drum mags. They have higher damage. Not all of them, but you guys get the point. The customization still plays a role. And the whole selling point of this SMG was like suppressed shots and like, you know, stealthy gameplay, but there is no stealthy gameplay in the game. So yeah, it is what it is. The Eruptor goes straight to S tier, probably above Purifier as well. One of the best weapons in the game. Eruptor is very powerful. It's easily one of the best guns in the game. It has explosive damage. It can AoE clear. The single target damage is absolutely wild. Yeah, essentially it's pretty good, and it's a safe pick to throw into S tier. And the great thing about the Eruptor actually is that it gives you so many options to build craft around it and create awesome loadouts around it because of how powerful it is. So for example, when you're running this tool on the bug side, you can run the Stalwart without any thought. You have a primary weapon that literally closes down bug holes, deals massive damage to charger tails, can take down Bile Titans, you know, and then you're going to use the Stalwart to deal with, for example, the annoying Shriekers or anything that essentially is getting close to you. So it really is an S tier weapon, no doubt about it. On top of that, once again, it's explosive, guys, which means that you're taking those bugs out that are underground very easily. And yeah, as I said, huge value increase when it comes to explosive weapons. Then we have the one and only Sickle. Sickle is going to go into B tier. I personally like Sickle more than most of the ARs that are light pen in the game. But currently, as you guys see in A tier and S tier, we have a bunch of incredible weapons. So I'm not going to drop it in A tier. I used to drop it in A tier some time ago where we didn't have as many good options, but now we do. So it's going to be wherever you want this in B tier. Honestly, I don't think it's on the lower side. I definitely prefer it to the SMG and some of the ARs that are on this list. Then we have the Halo shotgun. And this one is weird because I do believe they pre-nerfed the hell out of this weapon overall. If you look at how powerful it was in the Halo universe, because it has that high damage, it does give you the ability to one-shot tons of enemies, including the Predator strain. Guys, real quick about the shotgun. So when I was recording this video, a few things, I went on a huge rant about the shotgun and why I thought it should have had medium pen or whatever. It was too long of a conversation, so I kind of took that out. But after using it with the new bugs and whatever, I just don't see how it deserves to be in A tier. So the fact that it's light pen, honestly, once again, the only actual use that I found for it was the Predator strain. Like, apart from that, with the new enemies, I don't see its value to the point that I would drop it in A tier. My apologies, I forgot to move it down to B tier. And even though you see it in A tier, please keep in mind it's supposed to be in the tier below. Diligence and counter diligence, they're both gonna go to C tier when it comes to the bugs. I mean, they're great against the bots, for example, but against the bugs, there is absolutely no reason to run these guns whatsoever. Crossbow is going to go high A tier as well. Still one of the best. I just think that all of these weapons that are in S tier have more value, and everything that this does at the moment, the Eruptor can do better, apart from the fact that it is one-handed and you can pair it with some shields and whatnot, and that is cool. But on the bug side, I do feel like the Eruptor just is very strong at the moment, man, especially with all the changes and whatnot. It's just too good. The Dominator actually is not a bad weapon, man. I'm gonna throw it in lower A tier. This is probably gonna move down as well, but for now, let's keep it there. Now let's talk about the Pummeler. The Pummeler is cracked out of its mind currently. Like, a lot of people are sleeping on it. It's one of the best weapons in the game. The buff that was done to the Pummeler is ridiculously powerful. I probably think that this is better than Cookout, so we are going to drop it in S. Everybody chill out. It's a joke. Pummeler is not S tier, okay? We're going to drop it in lower B tier, somewhere around here. You can drop it lower if you want to. I just feel like it's better than the Diligence weapons when it comes to the bugs, because you can build craft around it. But yeah, it's going to end up in B tier. Then we have the Blitzer. The Blitzer is going to go S tier. Immediately go in S tier, man. Stun, stagger, infinite ammo, hitting a bunch of targets at the same time. And yes, you can deal with the Shriekers as well, as long as you're used to the weapon. Is it as effective as some of the other weapons when it comes to the Shriekers? Not really, but you can say the same for the RUPTURE, but it's still going to be in S tier. That said, the Blitzer is one of the safest picks because of the incredible infinite ammo. Stun, damage, stagger, all of that makes it an easy S tier. If you haven't tried it yet, make sure to pick it up. You're not going to regret it. Then we have the double-edged sickle. This is going to go next to the normal sickle. Listen, if you build around it, it really is strong. The problem is, on the bug side, all of that build crafting really doesn't give you as much value as it does on the bot side. So that's why it ends up here. If this was the bots, I'd definitely have it way higher than that, right? Let's talk about the Scythe. It's going to end up in B tier as well, but it's one of those weapons that if you actually, like, for example, right? If you put this with the gas rover or double lasers, puts enemies on fire as well with specific loadouts, and you can make it work. Then we have the plasma shotgun. So we're not going to drop it into like high A tier. We're going to drop it on the lower side. The thing about the plasma shotgun is it still has a very good stagger. Okay, let's talk about the amendment. The amendment has a whopping 200 damage. It is light pen, but I'm not gonna lie, it's actually pretty solid, man. The amendment is gonna go somewhere mid B tier. I think that the 200 damage is awesome, but it's just not built for the bugs. The reason I say that, I truly do believe that in Helldivers 2, there's a bunch of weapons that are built for different factions, right? Like, you can't sit here and say that, for example, once again, the Diligence is, you know, good on the bugs, while it's clearly just built to play against the bots, right? Like, you can use it if you want to against the bugs, but it just doesn't work as efficiently, as effectively. I think the amendment is kind of in the same spot when it comes to the bugs. Like, you can move this around wherever you want, but I wouldn't put it in A tier for sure. I just do think it's better than the Diligence weapons, and that's why we're going to be throwing it into B tier. When it comes to the Deadeye, we're also going to drop it in B. I think it's actually a really fun weapon, and the high damage and the medium pen come in clutch. So yeah, we're going to throw it in there. Next up is Constitution. We're going to drop it into maximum doo-doo tier. I'm never touching this gun. Now let's talk about the Punisher. Punisher is not bad at all, man. I don't think it's a bad weapon. I'm not going to put it into A tier. I personally think that the shotguns overall are better than the ARs when it comes to the bugs, and I would love to hear your thoughts on that, because they just do have better ammo economy and they pack a punch most of the times. They just get the clears pretty efficiently. Now, Scorcher is next on the list. High A tier awaits Scorcher. Boom, just like that, guys. Now, why am I dropping it in A tier and not in S tier? The only reason for that is going to be ammo economy, because it just doesn't have good ammo economy. Literally because it doesn't have good ammo economy. That's all it is. The damage is there, everything. You just have to use a supply backpack with this one, because there's so many bugs at all times that you're going to be just burning through the ammunition. You really will, and then you end up with nothing. And that's where the Purifier is just more valuable, because of its incredible AoE clear and its way, way, way better ammo economy, right? Halt is going to go on the lower A tier. You can make really fun builds with this one when it comes to like CC builds, and the damage is also very nice. The Breaker OG shotgun. Okay, we're going to throw this into lower A tier. I think that it gets the job done very effectively, especially with the customization. The customization really made some of these weapons much better. Now, one thing I want to mention about the Breaker and the next weapon that we're going to be talking about here in a second, which is the Spray and Pray, is that these are going to be kind of exceptions for A tier. And for players especially that will try to build craft it and have a very solid weapon when it comes to clearing like the light pen enemies, right? So the annoying ones, the hunters, whatever, that's where they're gonna fit in way better than, for example, the ARs that are light pen, right? That's why they're gonna be above the ARs, because they have the ability to get those clears in a better and more efficient way as long as you're build crafting around them. So for example, you can combine this with the medium machine gun, heavy machine gun, or even with the flamethrower, as long as you know how to keep your rotations going. Now, when it comes to the spray and pray, once again, when it comes to clears, it's very similar to the one and only OG Breaker. They're very close when it comes to RPM, but the damage, it's different. So if you're looking for a shotgun that packs a stronger punch, it's gonna be the normal Breaker. But then if you're looking for a little bit of a higher RPM, that's going to be spray and pray. So we're going to set these two next to each other. They will play their role with confidence, right? Like for clearing normal ads and like light pen enemies, they get the job done way more effectively than any of these weapons below them. They really do. Night SMG is one of my favorite light pen weapons, actually. And when you have that bigger magazine, it feels awesome, bro. Like people think that, for example, the Liberator Carbine is a stalwart. Nah, man. This thing is the mini stalwart. I'm gonna throw it above the Liberator Carbine. Let's talk about the Reprimand. This thing packs a punch with the customization. It actually feels pretty good when it comes to recoil control and everything like that. Because of the high damage, the armor pen, it is actually a pretty solid weapon. We're going to drop it next to Tenderizer here. The Defender is going to go next to Pummeler. Boom, just like that. The STA-11 SMG is also going to go into B tier. We can just throw it in here. It doesn't really make a difference. And then we have the one and only Torture, which is going to go into S tier. Torture is very, very strong. I still feel like it's one of the most underrated weapons in the game. And the reason for that is because it definitely takes time to get used to, right? Like, you have to manage the distance and understand how to treat different kinds of enemies and when to attack and when to move away. And all of those things are even more so true for the Torture compared to the other weapons because of the range that it has. And it doesn't have stagger or stun. However, what it does have is incredible damage and the ability to melt down any enemy on the bug side, including the Bile Titans, right? Like obviously there's dragons and whatnot, you can't really reach them, but whatever you can reach, it deals tons of damage to, for example, chargers. Once again, Bile Titans, commanders, whatever it is, you're going to be taking them out within seconds. Let's talk about the variable. This is a weapon that has like different modes. Its base damage when you have it in its base form is 85. It is light pen, right? The shotgun mode is actually pretty good. It's pretty solid. Do I think this is an A tier or S tier weapon? No, definitely not. I think that everything that we have in A tier, especially high A tier and S tier, is just extremely strong in the game right now. We are going to throw this into B tier, somewhere around this area. I mean, you can move it around a little bit, but the point is I'm going to throw it into B tier, right? And okay, the Slugger, one of my pain points, because this used to be my baby that would like snipe bugs and it was just so much fun to play. I know it deserves right now C tier, but I can't stand that. I can't watch that happen, okay? So we're going to visually throw it into B so I just don't crash out, but it is in C or maybe even doo-doo, but let's just say it's in C and throw it in B, okay? Please forgive me with this one. So yeah, that's gonna be the list. As you guys can see, boom, just like that. Make sure to let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. Now keep in mind, this is how they perform on the higher difficulties, right? Now that said, whatever you guys see in S tier, A tier, and even in B tier are going to scale down to the lower levels the same way. So all of these weapons are still going to be the best on those difficulties. The only difference is that the B tier weapons are going to be easier and are going to feel more effective because there's less enemies and there's less heavier enemies. You're going to have some people disagree. They'll hop in and they'll say, oh, dude, what are you talking about? For example, I love the Halo AR. I think it's incredible. It clears everything. And I have had comments like that. And then I ask him, okay, what difficulty do you play on? And they'll say like 5, 6, or 7, right? And then it makes sense. Like if you think about it, on those difficulties, these weapons will feel better. They just will, because there's less enemies as mentioned. There's less tankier enemies as well. There's less chargers, less bile titans, whatever it is, and they're having a great time. And once again, as long as you're having a great time and playing on whatever difficulty you prefer playing on, use whatever guns you want. At the end of the day, that's what it's all about. It's about having a good time, fun time, and putting down these ugly ass bugs 24/7, right? So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, slap a like, sub to the channel. There's a lot of exciting content that I have on the way for you guys, and thank you for all the love and support you have been showing to this channel. It's been crazy. Honestly, guys, without your support, none of this is possible. And once again, I want to thank you guys from the bottom of my heart. From me, from my family, you guys have no idea how much your support means to us. As always, stay positive, stay disciplined, and I'll see you all on the next one.